Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to be introducing you to a new type of relaxation therapy so that hopefully you can learn how to do it and then teach others and help them to relax. And this new type of therapy is called hand painting therapy. And it came from the realization that when people have their faces painted or drawn on or something like that in a fair or a carnival, that it is generally a very relaxing, pleasurable experience. So we've extended that concept and we've been working on it for a while, and we've found that having your hand painted can also be very relaxing and can help people get rid of stress and stuff like that. So it's pretty basic, but we're going to cover some of the steps involved and talk a little bit about the best way to do it, and I'll be demonstrating with my hands as we go along. Okay? Good. Well, the first thing you obviously need are some hands. Nice, clean hands. Make sure your client has cleaned their hands well, and just soap and water should be enough. And you'll want to examine them to make sure that there's no cuts or breaks in the skin or something like that, because when you paint the paint onto the skin, it may get inside of there and cause some irritation. The paints we use are non-toxic, but even so, we still want to have skin that hasn't been cut or has a break in it or something like that. Also, if the skin is super dry, that may also cause some problems. So you may want to have your client moisturize their hands a few hours before they come in so that they're a little softer. Okay? Well, the next thing you obviously need are some paints. So I'm just going to pick some colors here. Your client may have some colors they prefer, so you may ask them that as they sit down or as you're starting the session. Ask them what colors they would like to have their hand painted. Usually you don't leave the paint on their hands, you wash it off, and that is also a relaxing part of the therapy. So let the client know that they can't necessarily keep the paint on their hands, or at least all of their hands. You may be able to leave a small area if you want, but they still may have a favorite color. So for this exercise, we're going to use these colors. And then the next thing you need, obviously, is some paintbrushes. I have several different sizes here that we'll be using. And then, as with everything that's involving paint, we will need some water. So let's fill some water up here. And we'll use this to clean our brushes and stuff like that. Pretty basic. So the basic concept behind hand painting is the feeling of the brush on the skin. People find this to be very relaxing, very soothing. It stimulates the nerve endings very gently in the hands, in the fingertips. And that is one of the things that makes face painting so relaxing, is you have a great deal of nerve endings around your face, and you also have a great deal of nerve endings in your fingers and in your hands. So as you work with your client, make sure that you are gentle with your brush motions and that you take your time. This is not a process that is going to produce a work of art or something beautiful as far as painting goes. The entire reason that you're doing it is to help your client relax. So just slow, gentle brush strokes on the hand, on the top of the hand, here, and also on the palm of the hand and around the fingertips. So that is the basic technique that we're going to be working with today. Now, in addition to that, you have the feeling of the paint as well. So we're going to mix up some paint and get it to the right consistency so that we can use it on the hand. Now these paints are a little thick, so we will need to thin them down some. And what I'll do is I'll use my smaller brush, and as you can see, it's just a glob. And we'll put that there on our palette, and that should be all we need for now of this color. And we'll also use some of this yellow. And I'm going to get a different brush so that I do not contaminate the colors there on the brush itself or put colors inside of this container. Okay. So we'll start out with this, and I'm just going to put this brush in here and clean it out a bit. And I'll also clean this one out as well. Okay. Now we want to use one of these brushes that is full of water, and we want to add this water to the paint to thin it down a bit, because it is a bit thick. So we're going to mix this together pretty thoroughly. It makes kind of a muddy green, doesn't it? Why don't we do this? Let's actually take some green and add to it. I think that'll make it a better color. That color's a bit ugly. So we'll use our old paintbrush here that we used in the blue. And I'm just going to dip out a nice glob of green here. And we're going to mix that in with it. That's why the color really doesn't matter. You at least want it to look pleasant. So this is looking like a dark green now. That's good. Kind of like an army green. Which might be good if you had some male customers you were doing this for. They might appreciate a nice army green. Nice manly color. So, and we've actually had, with the tests that we've been doing, there doesn't seem to be a big difference between male and female as far as who enjoys having their hand painted. It seems to be the same amount on both. Okay, well, the color's not fantastic, but that's alright. We want to load up our brush with it. And then, just like we were doing before with the dry brush, we want to just gently lay down some color. Like that. The paint is very cool, and it has definitely a different feel to it than the dry brush does, because it's leaving behind the stroke of paint with it. You can do short progressive strokes like this, or you can just start and go all the way down. Now you do not want to ignore the fingers themselves. You can just go straight down like that. And it's very relaxing. Again, we're not making a work of art or a butterfly or anything like that. We are just providing the sensation of relaxing brush strokes on the skin. Like that. So it looks kind of weird, but similar to, say, a mud bath or a facial pack that you would use on someone's face. It's not the aesthetics of the look of the mask that count so much as the benefits of the mask itself. So you can just go straight down the fingers like this. Nice even coverage all the way up to the fingernails. I would avoid painting the fingernails, especially if your client already has their fingernails painted. I would just ignore them. The nature of the fingernails usually requires a different type of paint, and I would stick mostly with just the skin. We are also exploring the benefits of having a line of paints that actually help condition the skin as well as provide relaxation in the painting process. So we are developing paints specifically for this process that will also help the customer. So we are developing a line of products to help with the client's skin as far as making it healthier. So you can see, just a nice solid color going down, covering up the client's skin, kind of like a facial mask. Although with this color, kind of looking like the Incredible Hulk right now. So you may want to find out which colors work best for your client. Don't necessarily make them look like a creature from the Black Lagoon. But this is just a test, just to show you guys how it works. So once you've done that, you don't necessarily need to let it dry. The process is the putting on and removal of the paint. So what you can do with that is just use a large brush. Make sure that you dip it in water and just start to liberally apply a wash of clean water over the skin and just let it run down. Bring some fresh water and let it bathe over the hand of your client like that. loosen up the paint. And you'll do this over a towel, obviously, or a covering. That will help the absorption of the water. And this is all water-based paint, so it will quickly come off, as you can see here. Just like that. And you take a towel. And you start to wipe off the paint. Like that. You want to pay particular attention to the fingernails, that you don't let the paint soak into them too much. I'm going to wash this out really well in some clean water. And then go back in and do another wash. Okay, so that gets you to your first level of clean, taking it off. And so the next thing you want to do is apply some soap to make sure that the client's hand is completely clean of the paint. So I usually take another brush, put the soap on the client's hand, and use the brush to work the soap in everywhere that you've put the paint on. All around the edges. Down the fingers. And this will help get rid of any residual colors. You may want to stick to lighter colors than the colors that I've put on here. And then just kind of use the brush to scrub, getting into all the places that you were before. Just like that. Let's give it a good clean. Wash out your brush. And this is kind of a darker color. I think we've learned something here today. You might want to stick with yellows and reds so that your client does not end up looking like a zombie with a green cast to their skin. If you used red, it might actually give a nice healthy glow, as long as it was the right shade of red. Now I'll just wipe this off. You can see the soap does wonders, bringing it back. So just a few more places here and there to work on, kind of around the knuckles, in between the fingers. There you go, pretty much back to new. There's a few spaces we can work on some more, but so even though it is a little strange, a little odd, the point of the therapy is not the visuals necessarily. The point of the therapy is to help the client relax by painting the skin and then washing it off again in a slow, methodical method. And hopefully your clients will enjoy it a tremendous amount, and you will get better with it, get better at it with practice, and you'll be able to successfully do some hand painting relaxation therapy on your own. Okay? Well, thank you for watching this. I hope you have enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Okay?